Hey guys, Razor Mike, welcome to my channel. I am a commercial and beauty photographer out of Miami, and in today's episode we're going to be looking back at a project I did some time ago. It is a boudoir short story. So we're going to be talking about the different decisions that I made and the different focal lengths I used during the shot. So let's get going. Alright guys, so I'm going to play the video first of that sequence, that scene, and then we're going to go back and kind of revisit how it all happened. Alright, so let's roll it.
Realize your power, finding out myself, finding out myself. Power, realize your power, finding out myself, finding out myself.
Go where you wanna go, do what you're gonna do what you wanna do, go where you wanna go. Get on with it, come on, get on with it, come on, get on with it, come on, get on with it. This what I say, what I say. Listen what I say, listen what I say, listen what I say, what I say. Get on with it, come on, get on with it. I go left, you go right, live it up, dance all night. I go left, you go right, live it up, dance all night. I go left, you go right, live it up, dance all night. I go left, you go right. Baby, you're gon' be mine. Baby, you looking so fine. Baby, you gon' be mine. Baby, you looking so fine. Baby, you're gon' be mine. Baby, you looking so fine. Baby, you gon' be mine. Baby, you looking so fine. I go left, you go right, live it up, dance all night. I go left, you go right, live it up, dance all night. I go left, you go right, live it up, dance all night. I go left, you go right, live it up, dance all. Get on top now, get on top, get on top, get on top, yeah.
Power, realize your power, finding out myself, finding out myself.
I go left, you go right, live it up, dance all night. I go left, you go right, live it up, dance all night. I go left, you go right, live it up, dance all night. I go left, you go right, live it up.
Alright guys, so let's have a look here.
Alright guys, so we're going to be skimming through the video now. We're going to be talking about basically the overview, or should I say the overall concept, right? Along with the lens selection and of course the lighting, right? So that's going to be kind of our structure here. So as we're seeing at the beginning of this title here, Thinking of You. So the concept behind Thinking of You is basically this girl getting into the scene and kind of having, shall we say, she's reminiscing, she's thinking about a past experience she had in the same room, right? So we start here at this opening scene, as you can see, and here we're establishing basically the location, right? So obviously it's an actual room, and we start with lens selection. Here would be the 35mm lens, just to be able to capture kind of like that environment, right? To see where this is taking place. So we're following the character to the bed. At this point, she makes herself comfortable on the bed and starts to basically just, massage her body. This is a boudoir video after all. It's about sensuality. So here she's kind of caressing her body, And here at the same time, the camera is kind of like obviously going through the shape of her body, outlining the shape of her body. And that's basically what we're doing here, is we're just kind of scoping out our talent, right? So it's just kind of showing her body, her different curves, different angles, and she herself is thinking about the experience, where here we are showing the experience here in black and white to basically give a visual indication that this took place in the past, right? So here we go, we have our black and white moment that she's thinking about. She had this experience with a certain somebody, and as you can see, it's a point of view of this person, right? So as you can see, she's holding this person's hand, bringing him in, throwing him on the bed, and basically having a good time, laughing. So it takes place at the point of view of the actual person that she's thinking of. And of course, we don't see that person, so it's a point of view. It's a third person. It's a first person perspective, right? So we're showing that, kind of showing, cementing that memory there of the bed with the past. Okay, so current and then the past. And here we're moving on to a different part, which seems like a sofa scene. She's thinking about the experience she had there at the sofa scene. And boom, here we are back showing that past experience of her in the sofa scene, and her kind of, the memory that she had with this special somebody here in the sofa. Now here, obviously, I continued with a 35 millimeter here. So as you see here, this is 35 millimeter selection, and I continued here for 35 millimeter because I wanted to get a medium wide shot. So I wanted to be close enough to kind of show what's going on, but at the same time, I wanted to show the surroundings, right? So I wanted to make sure that we got a glimpse into the surroundings. So I didn't want anything too tight, so we stayed on 35 millimeter here. And as we move on to this couch scene, she's again thinking about, reminiscing about the past, but we're showing just the future, how she's kind of thinking about it. So by this point, hopefully, the viewer already got the idea that she's thinking about somebody else in the past. So here we're no longer reflecting back to the past, we're just in the present here, and kind of showing her just again massaging herself, taking off her sweater, so adding that bit of sexiness. And of course, regarding the lighting, which I forgot to kind of mention in the previous ones, the previous lighting conditions, if we go back, these were basically naturally lit. So as you can see, we have a lamp light in the back behind her. So this is just the natural lighting of the room. No special lighting was actually done here. As you can see, you have the two lamps here on the sides that are giving the light to this actual scene. Here on this setup, I did have a light over on the left hand side here, which is basically spewing some of this color, this violet type of color here. So I do have one light here on the side, which is giving us a little bit of that purple tinge right there, right? Here again, this is all natural here, natural light from these lamps that are sitting by the bedpost. So at this point, it's been all natural light and one accent lighting, which is this color light here on the side. Okay, so that's all we have as far as lighting so far, just one light. And as we get across here to back to here, we're kind of doing that same thing. So here, as you can see, she's looking out to this window over here on the right that you see. And so we were kind of mimicking kind of like a sunlight coming through the window here. So we do have a light over on the right hand side that is kind of giving that golden light here that you see right there. So this is motivated lighting, so it seems like it's like coming from this lamp over here, but it's actually coming from an LED light. And at the same time, this could also be perceived as window lighting from that's coming from this window over here, right? So it's definitely motivated lighting. The audience gets an idea of where that light could be coming from. And as we move on, we get close-ups here. So here, when we went from this 35 millimeter, we switched over here to the 85 millimeter, which allowed us to get closer. So at this point, we switched to the 85 millimeter to get closer look into the detail of the lingerie that she's wearing, and basically her body movement, right? So we definitely switched to the 85 here to get closer to our subject without physically moving forward to them, right? Because I find that the talent usually gets a little bit, they get a little bit more nervous when they have the lens pressed up against them. So this allows me to keep a distance from my talent, but at the same time be able to get closer to reveal more details about them, right? So here again, we're getting closer, and we have an LED light in the back there that is kind of giving us a little bit of the spew in the background. So it's kind of creating a nice separation between her body and the backdrop, right? She's not just getting lost in the darkness there. So again, the overall concept is that she's again moving from one part of the room to the other. Here we're using a color light, which is a blue light off to the side of her here that is also casting some color over on the left side of the wall over here. But as you can see, she's kind of well lit here with a warm light. So here we have a 2-light setup. That blue light that is behind her, offset maybe 30 degrees, and then we have a warm light that is basically casting light just for her, right? So we don't want that blue. We didn't want that blue to kind of jump all over her skin. We wanted it to be controlled here, as you can see. The light is controlled only to shine a little bit on her hair and a little bit on her back there, but we do not want it to spread over to her face or anything else. So that's how we were able to control that. Here, taking it to the same angle, or should I say a different angle, but the same light setup. This one is basically just directly behind her, so you see the same light is directly behind her. It's casting a nice kind of cinematic lighting here pattern that we're able to see the shadows and everything in her body, and are able to basically keep that low lit romantic kind of feel. And again, here we switched again to the 85 millimeter to get closer to our subject without physically having to move close to them. Here on this wide shot of her trying to capture her whole body, here we switch back to the 35 millimeter because of course we wanted to capture more of the scene, as you can see here. And the lighting of course has not changed, it's still at the same spot, but all we did was move our subject over so that the light is kind of just lightly just coming over her shoulder, as you can see here. And so that's again, we went back here to the 85 to get that close-up, and now again we moved to a different spot, which is actually that little chair area, and we're showing here a little bit of, again, that past history that she had, or that memory of her and her special somebody on the couch, right? So she has that memory there, and this is where we're going through that specific memory. She gives him a kiss, and that's our transition into the next and final scene, which is basically just outlining her body again. But then here we're changing her into another outfit to kind of give a little bit more diversity and a little bit of a different look. As you can see here, I kind of focused on just having a little bit of light over on the left hand side, which is our key, and then we have a little bit of a hair light over on the right, which is that same little golden light. So a 2-light setup here, and to be able to just accent and create shadows in the right places, right? And we did eliminate a little bit of the background. As you can see, I eliminated the light from the back because I really wanted her to be kind of the focus, and so as you can see, the background is not that lit, but you can still tell, there's curtains back there. There's still enough light back there to know what's back there, right? But we kind of wanted to emphasize her. I wanted to emphasize her. So this is kind of like the ending scene here, where we're showing a lot of silhouetting, and a lot of just, half lit kind of portraits. As you can see here, these are all kind of half lit. And of course showing details again, and we switched over to the 85mm here again to be able to get these close-ups. And of course we wanted to compress this background, and so as you can tell here in this last scene, this is a compressed image, right? This is a very compressed scene because you see her face, and right away right behind her is the mattress. So you see this scene has been very compressed, and that's due to the 85mm perspective. And here again, we'll go to the 85mm. We can get details of her body and basically what she's wearing. And that's basically where it ends. We were able to capture different pieces of the body as she's moving at 85mm to be able to isolate her from the background. And that's basically it. So we were able to go with the 85 and the 35mm. So mainly I used the 35mm for all the white shots, and the 85mm, of course, to do all of the close-ups. So that was the two combo deal here for this shoot, was 85mm and 35mm. And I used a two light setup. For example, here to be able to light some of the scenes. The majority of the time, I think it was just mainly a one light setup, but I will switch between a one light setup and a two light setup, depending on the look that I wanted to get. But yeah, I mean, definitely majority of my shots, I do a two light setup to be able to capture, main key light to make it look a little bit natural and nice and soft, and then I do a hair light that kind of gives it a little bit of an accent color sometimes. So I usually use an accent color as such, or I'll use a warm tone, as you're seeing here, to be able to mimic sunlight. Or, you can mimic this, could potentially be a sunset type of light coming from the window. So that's it. Thank you for that's it for my analysis of how I shot this. If you have any questions, please let me know. And let's go back to our cast.
Well, thanks for tuning in. I hope that this was helpful for you, and I hope you enjoyed that video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And, subscribe, and we'll be chatting about something else. All right? Raise your mic. Out.